Over the last 2 months, the bearish momentum has been falling, volatility has been dropping, and of course, overall market volume has been on a steady decline. However, in the last few days, we've seen the bullish perspective increase, with more and more people potentially leading to the idea that a reversal could be sooner than later. In today's video, we're going to go ahead and take a look at both Bitcoin and Ethereum, talking about the charts from a structural and a technical stance, discussing the potential move towards the downside, our reversal points, to make sure everyone here is in the know-how and know exactly what to expect next. Let's get into it. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum today, discussing the charts from a structural and a technical standpoint. We're going to be discussing both the potential move towards the downside, what you can expect to see, and of course, the macro reversal and short-term reversal points. Before you get into it, smash the like button, hit the comment button, and of course, subscribe to the channel. We do daily technical analysis and structural analysis videos on Bitcoin, of course, the broader markets as a whole, and the occasional news-related posts and economic data-driven posts. We also talk about a lot of other things in our Telegram channel, which you can get access to via the second link down below. All of our videos are posted here, all of the news which is relevant at the time, charts, analysis, videos, everything you need to get up to date with the markets. And of course, if you're interested in our VIP channel, we do trading signals in here. As you can see, we do exclusive altcoin analysis. All trading signals come with specific entries, stop loss, targets, and a whole range of more stuff, as well as our group chat, which you can get access to, which is right over here as well. Okay guys, sorry about that, my microphone cut out, so I had to pause the video, but we're going to go ahead and start with the market data as usual. So what we're looking at over here for the market, we're up 2.23%. Not a lot of movement in the last 24 hours. If you do go back to the Bitcoin chart, you can see in the last 24 hours, we are very much in an incredibly similar place to as we were yesterday. Yesterday around this time, we were at 16,960. We are now at 16,925. So a very, very slight move towards the downside in the last 24 hours. Along with this, our volatility is sitting at 1.33%. Again, historically low levels on the volatility right now in the 30-day periods. We've only seen volatility this low or lower 3 separate times since 2016. Absolutely insane. Looking at the liquidations, we are only at $10 million in 24-hour liquidations. Again, indicative of a sideways market, indicative of not a lot of volatility and pretty strong indecision. Looking at the 24-hour volume, we are seeing only 20 billion, so a 57.34% drop in 24-hour volume. Again, this is definitely representative of the price action. Again, 82% drop in 24-hour liquidations. Again, representative of the price action. As we can see on Bitcoin over here, we really haven't moved too much. We're currently sitting right above that horizontal support range between 19,020 as well as 16,920 and 16,800, with of course a POC level in between. We are currently within a rising channel formation, which can potentially lead to a breakdown. However, we are above the descending resistance, the diagonal resistance, what we have been underneath for the last about 4+ weeks, about 4 to 5 weeks. So there is a little bit of discrepancy here in terms of the structures on the chart, and we'll come back and talk about those in a second. Let's go ahead and talk about the broader markets first. For the DXY, again, the market is closed. We saw a significant rally, a rejection from that major trigger zone, pushing all the way back through not only the horizontal support, but as well as that diagonal resistance. Looking towards the upside, we do need to still see a break over these 2 green lines, ideally 107, to see any sort of rally and continuation upwards. Until then, again, we are in this downtrend. We are still within the bounds of this diagonal trend now, and we are aiming for 1.1 if this continues towards the downside. Until then, we are very much going to be bouncing between this upper resistance zone and this lower support which we have developed. Again, we'll have to wait and see what it looks like when the markets do open. As for the Dow Jones, we are in a similar structure here as to the S&P 500. We are within our horizontal consolidation range, which is sitting right over here. Again, this is a reversal point. This is a potential zone where a reversal could take place. We saw a bearish divergence print over here. We saw a downtrend initiate. The downtrend took us towards our next support level, which is a level between these 2 black lines. We consolidated for quite some time. It looks like we are developing a rising channel again, which is a bearish structure, getting ready for that next move down. However, if the price can break through this dotted line at 34,000, we do have potential to retest 35, and of course 35 is a trigger for a swing to the new all-time high, so we do have to keep that in mind. For the S&P 500, we are in a very similar position over here, guys. We do have that rising channel formation. Of course, we had a rising wedge, which we broke down and entered into a downtrend. We retested, and we're currently within the horizontal resistance support range. Rejecting from this range will result in a continuation back to 36, and of course, breaking through as high as a continuation up to 4300. Let's go ahead and jump into Bitcoin. And we'll start with the structural analysis on Bitcoin, then we'll do our technical analysis on Bitcoin, and then we'll go ahead and jump into Ethereum. So from a structural standpoint, really not much has changed since yesterday. Pretty much everything is exactly the same. We're going to really briefly reiterate the points we made yesterday on the small time frame, on the macro, and then we'll do our technicals, and then we'll go to Ethereum. So what we're looking at over here, guys, is a very simple, yet complicated, if we make it complicated, horizontal consolidation. We are in a horizontal consolidation between a few points. The first points being this green lower level, expanding to our red box over here, which is this June to November low. Okay, these are our two key resistance points. These two key resistance points are the determining factors on where the trend will go on a macro scale. Okay, losing this green resist support zone will result in a continuation toward the next major support on the macro chart, which happens to sit at 12 to 13.9 thousand according to historical volume ranges. Okay, this is not random subjective nonsense. This is what the charts are saying. The next strongest horizontal support range according to historical buying zones and volume ranges is the 12,000 to 13,900 range, and you can see that visually based on what the VRPV is doing. You can see a significant decrease, like a slope, as we start breaking down past 16,200. That slope starts picking up again around 13,900 to 12,000, and immediately after 12,000 we get a huge jump in historical trading volume, indicating 12,000 being that massive support. So for the downside, guys, if we do break below this green line, we are going to be heading towards 13.9 to 12,000. On the flip side, if we break upwards above this red line, guys, this June to November low, we will be breaking through a very key range. And this is, of course, not only will be breaking through the diagonal resistance of the current market structure, which is a falling wedge, not only will we be breaking through the POC level, which is the strongest horizontal resistance in the history of Bitcoin, which we have ever seen, which is sitting at 19,200, but of course we'll be breaking out on the weekly RSI and the 50 EMA, all confirming a potential reversal that will take us to 22.5 to 24,000. This is where it's interesting, because 22.5 to 24,000 does not mean the macro chart has reversed. What it means it gives us potential to see the macro reversal occur. So like I said yesterday, initial reversal potential occurs once we break these validation points. This is going to be the first resistance of that reversal. If we reject from this point, we continue downwards. As we break through here, we shoot back up to 30, and 30 is where we either confirm the macro uptrend or we won't reach that all in all. So either we're going to reach that and confirm the macro uptrend, or not going to reach that and get rejected at this 22.5 to 24 range. So that's the macro. On the smaller time frame, we zoom in a little bit more. We're moving between tighter consolidation. So what we're seeing over here is we're seeing a couple of things. We're seeing movements between these two gray levels, okay? And then we're seeing smaller time frame consolidations between even smaller horizontal ranges. So again, this horizontal range between 16,800 to 16,920, and of course this lower red box, which represents as well the diagonal support levels we have from the current uptrending structure that we do see visible on the chart. So what we are seeing now is a break out of the current structure that we were developing, which is some degree of a triangular structure. Of course, we had a downward trending resistance and an upward trending support, resulting in a triangular structure. We broke towards the upside. However, we did develop a break towards upside while still within a rising channel formation. And therefore, while we're in this rising channel formation, we do have a potential to break back down. If we do break back down, we're breaking into this triangular structure, and therefore this whole move towards the upside we labeled as a fake out, and a move towards the downside is possible. If that occurs, shorting would be ideal once we lose the diagonal uptrending support line, and our targets will be, of course, this red horizontal range, this 16,200 range, and of course 15,800. For the upside, guys, if we are able to remain above this horizontal range, like we said yesterday, for a couple 4-hour candles, we're able to find some more support, as like we are doing right now, we could potentially develop some degree of bullish consolidation up over here before we see a move upwards to 17,200 and potentially 17,400. From a structural standpoint, guys, we're looking pretty decent. We are technically in an uptrend. It is very, very clear we're in an uptrend, even though it's a very short-term uptrend. The macro is still very much down, but like I said, the macro is in a downward consolidation with reducing volume, reducing volatility, decreasing bearish momentum. The downtrend is weakening. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that this macro downtrend is weakening. Okay, it doesn't mean we can't go lower, but it's something we do need to keep in mind. Whilst we remain in this structure, we are still neutral and we are still in a downtrend. Therefore, I wouldn't be getting too bullish right now. However, it's definitely the time to start thinking about potential reversals that could potentially occur in the future, and what levels you'll be looking for and where you will react when those levels actually take place. Okay, without a plan, like they say, if you don't have a plan, you're preparing to fail, or fail to prepare to fail, whatever the saying goes. Okay, let's do a technical analysis on Bitcoin really quickly. We'll go ahead and bring up some indicators, starting with the RSI. Let's see what we're looking like in this short time frame. So what we are seeing here, we are seeing weakening in the current uptrend we are developing. Okay, like we said, we have this uptrending support line over here. Let's go ahead and draw it back in how I had it. We had an uptrending support line over here with our uptrending resistance line over here. Okay, something like that. This is our rising channel. We do have rising momentum, of course. We have an overall rising momentum. So we do have rising momentum, but we are starting to see weakening momentum. We're starting to see momentum weaken as we do have a bearish divergence, a discrepancy between what is happening on the price action here and of course what is happening on the momentum. We have rising price, decreasing momentum. This generally results in a reversal towards a downside. So looking at the structure over here again, we can potentially expect the RSI to come down here, retest and fall through, and that will of course result in the Bitcoin price reversing at this point, having that $17,000, that psychological resistance range, that $17,000 range, act as that rejection zone for the next leg towards the downside. From a technical standpoint, from a momentum standpoint, from a structural standpoint in the short term, this is the most probable scenario, I believe. This is the most probable scenario. This is what I'd be looking for. Once or if we break past 17,000, that is when I'd be reconsidering whether or not this scenario will play out. That is what we're looking for in the short term for Bitcoin in terms of our structures and our technicals. The RSI is suggesting weakening in the current uptrend we are seeing. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum, because Ethereum is an interesting chart right now. Looking for an honest, reliable, and accurate exchange that you can trust to trade on, go ahead and sign up to Bitget with the link down below and join myself and all of our other VIP members and other members who trade on Bitget daily. There's a whole range of benefits and features you can actually get by trading on Bitget. These include no government regulations, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the world. There's no KYC, 0% trading fees on spot, massively reduced trading fees on futures. It's one of the lowest in the game. And most importantly, access to their protection fund in case the exchange gets hacked. You can actually get reimbursed for your funds, so you can ensure your funds are safe. Now, most importantly, if you do sign up with the link down below, that first link, you'll get access to 2 additional features. These include access to a reward center where you can get up to $4,163 in rewards, and access to the MegaWhale exclusive referral link, bonus discounts. Every other month we do bonus campaigns. We get up to 10% off your trading fees, or even you get a percentage of your trading fees refunded to your account as USDT. Essentially, you get paid to be on the exchange. That's enough, guys. We'll get back into the video. So on the larger time frame, we definitely have similar structures to what we are seeing on Bitcoin. We do have this macro downward trending diagonal trend line. Of course, this is our major resistance. This is the resistance that we do need to break through to see a macro reversal play out. Okay, so I would not be bullish on Ethereum yet for a macro until we break through this downward sloping diagonal resistance. This is that key level. If we're able to break through a downward sloping diagonal resistance, I will expect a move upward into this upper range, sitting around $15,000 to $16,000 once more. But again, that relies on us breaking through this diagonal resistance and clearing some of these local highs that we've developed in the smaller time frame after the FTX crash since November. So that's what we're looking on the macro, of course. For the downside on Ethereum, like we said already, guys, we are again looking at that VRPV. We're looking at where Ethereum could potentially go based on what was seen before, and of course, more importantly, where those historical resistance ranges are and support ranges are, and relating the Ethereum price to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does fall down to 13,900, 14,000, we could definitely see Ethereum come down and retest anything between, I'm going to go ahead and say it's quite a large range, anything between the $600 to $800 range. It's quite a large range. It's a little bit harder to predict exactly how Ethereum is going to play out, but I'd expect a move down to $800 to $600 on the downside if Ethereum does actually go down, and of course if Bitcoin does break that 15,800 support and head to 13.9 to $12,000. As we can see on the chart over here, we do have dropping historical trading volume as we push into this range, and we do start seeing a little bit of a peak after $800 range and a nice little jump in it at around $600, indicating we do have a decent amount of support, or at least a decent amount of historical trading volume in that range, and therefore the potential for support is greater. So that is what I'll be looking for on the macro for the downside for Ethereum. For the upside, we've already talked about it. We're looking for a move up to 1,600 if that diagonal does end up breaking. So let's go ahead and talk about the smaller time frame and discuss what is happening from a structural standpoint, and of course where we could see the short term go. So before we do that, let's go ahead and label some horizontal ranges. Of course, quite similar to Bitcoin, we do have this lower support range, which we are currently seeing. Quite similar to Bitcoin, we do of course have this upper support resistance range, which we do see over here. Again, moving in a horizontal channel since November to present date. Moving from there, we can go ahead and put some local lows in. Perfect. We can go ahead and put some more local lows in there, so we have some support ranges there. And of course, we can go ahead and chuck some highs in. So we can see a few ranges developing, and of course, you can see the VRP matches that price action. What we're seeing from a structural standpoint, again, very similar to Bitcoin. We have a few uptrending lines. We do have an uptrending line over here, and more importantly, again, we do have a potential rising channel formation as we are seeing on Bitcoin. So once more, a rising channel. Let's go ahead and look at the RSI and see how this is looking from a momentum standpoint. Same thing as Bitcoin. We do have a rising RSI. So overall, again, we do have this rising RSI indicating, again, an uptrend in momentum. We are actually seeing a preemptive breakdown of this RSI, suggesting, again, the momentum has shifted bearish, and price usually follows momentum. This leads me to believe that Ethereum is going to be continuing towards a downside on the short term. What also leads me to believe that is that we do have a bearish divergence over here on Ethereum. According to the price action and momentum, we do have a rising price and a decreasing RSI, suggesting a bearish divergence and therefore a potential shift in that momentum towards the downside, and generally price will follow. So for the short term, guys, I definitely think Ethereum will be heading towards the downside. Breaking through this uptrending support line, the next target will be here, these two red lines, and of course if we do lose that level, we'll be continuing into this range, as would Bitcoin be doing on the chart as well. For the upside, guys, we can see again the POC level is sitting at around 1,320, which it sits at around that horizontal resistance range as well as that diagonal. So we have 3 points of rejection over here, 3 potential resistance points that we need to break over. Breaking through 3 resistance points will turn this area into strong support and facilitate that next move towards upside. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you've got any questions, leave it down below. A little bit more chaotic today, but we're talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but I hope I condensed the key points for today's videos, the structures, the potential directions, the short-term price action, what we immediately expect, and of course, the macro. If you've got any questions, again, leave them down below and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.